Okay, let's just jump right into this explainer by talking about a very real, very modern frustration for anyone summoned for civic duty in the Circuit Court of Cook County. Look, if you live in the Chicago area, you know the drill. You get that official-looking envelope in the mail, you read the dates, and you immediately reach for your phone to figure out how to just handle the whole thing online, right? Well, today we're navigating jury duty in Cook County, and we're going to separate the myth from the reality of how this massive system actually operates.
I mean, we live in an era where we renew our driver's licenses on our phones, we pay our taxes digitally, we even attend actual court hearings over Zoom. So it is a completely natural question. Can you check your Cook County state jury status online? You'd absolutely assume that in our hyper-connected world, verifying whether you need to show up to court is just a quick click away. But the reality is probably going to surprise you.
This frustration is perfectly captured by real Cook County residents venting on Reddit. You see people getting ordered as standby jurors without any clear electronic check-in method. Just take a listen to this quote from a local Reddit user, Junior GT, who was put on standby for the Rolling Meadows courthouse. They literally wrote, "Not sure why we aren't doing this electronically at this point." They were super confused by the automated phone message they had to listen to, and they were just desperate for a simple web link to confirm their status. And honestly, it's a sentiment echoed all over local forums. People are frantically searching for a digital portal that, well, simply isn't there.
So here is the crucial takeaway. While Cook County does have digital portals for lawyers and litigation, they have really robust online capabilities to look up case information or use the Odyssey system to e-file court documents, there is absolutely zero capacity to process juror-specific queries online. None. You literally cannot check, verify, or change your jury status via the internet for the state circuit court. It's kind of wild, but it's true.
Navigating Cook County system. Since you can't log in online to check if you need to report, let's look at how this system actually works. So, if there's no website, how do you even know if you're needed? Well, instead of a website, Cook County uses an automated IVR, that's an interactive voice response phone framework. State court jurors have to rely entirely on traditional phone verification. Basically, you have to call a designated hotline the evening before your service date, punch in your numbers on the keypad, and listen to a recording. The whole thing is designed this way to tweak the daily volume of jurors based on exactly how many active trials are scheduled for the very next day. It saves court resources and, ideally, keeps you from traveling down there if they don't actually need you.
Now, what's genuinely fascinating is the sheer scale of the Cook County system. If that phone recording tells you to report, you could be sent to one of several massive courthouses across the county's municipal districts. Whether you get sent downtown to the Daly Center for Civil Cases, out to the Skokie Courthouse, or down to the Criminal Division at the Layton Courthouse, you'll report directly to your assigned jury assembly room. A quick tip, definitely keep your primary contact numbers handy just in case you get lost or run into trouble on the morning of your service.
Who can or cannot serve? Now that we know where to go, let's talk about who is actually expected to walk through those courthouse doors.
Every single year, the court compiles a massive master list by randomly pulling names from registered voters, licensed drivers, and state ID holders. But to actually serve, you have to meet these fundamental criteria. You got to be at least 18, a U.S. citizen, and a resident of Cook County. You also need to be free from legal exceptions, of fair character, and able to understand English. And that completely includes spoken, written, or interpreted into sign language.
Of course, the court gets that life happens, right? So they do offer specific, valid exemptions. If you have a medical condition where serving is a health hazard, if you're active military, and heads up, the National Reserve doesn't count for this one, or if you have a lawsuit actively filed in Cook County, you can be excused. Same goes for extreme financial hardship or being a primary caretaker without access to childcare. But remember what we talked about? Because you can't submit this online, you're going to need to call the jury administration office or actually submit your documentation by mail or fax.
Lost summons? No problem. Let's tackle a super common panic point that we definitely saw echoing around Reddit. Seriously, it happens to the best of us. You open the mail, leave the paper on the kitchen counter, and poof, it's gone. If you lose your physical summons, step 1 is simple. Do not panic. Step 2, just pick up the phone and call the jury administration office between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. You just need to make sure you call at least one business day before your actual service date. They will absolutely hook you up with a replacement via fax or email. You're going to need that barcode at the security checkpoint, so please don't just show up to the courthouse empty-handed.
Neighboring and federal courts. Let's contrast Cook County with the jurisdictions right next door.
So why is everyone in Cook County so confused about the lack of online options? Well, it's mostly because literally everyone around them has it.
The digital disconnect is glaring when you realize that neighboring areas like DuPage, Winnebago, Lake, and Kane counties, not to mention the federal court system, they all use automated online portals. If you live just over the county line, you can log into systems like iJuror or Genesis, fill out your questionnaires, and even request postponements right from your web browser. Cook County's state system is kind of an island, holding tight to that phone-only IVR method.
For example, let's say you're summoned to the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. That's the federal court right downtown in Chicago. You can easily handle everything online. You're instructed to log into their eJuror portal within 10 days. All you need is your 9-digit participant number, the first 3 letters of your last name, and your birth year. Boom. Once you're in, you can update your info and check your real-time status.
And because the federal system has that streamlined digital portal, they can push highly detailed official guidelines directly to you. Things like specific check-in protocols, parking details, all of that. It really highlights what a modern online system can do for juror communication and peace of mind. It definitely makes the Cook County phone-in system feel, well, a little bit archaic by comparison.
Why jury duty matters. Despite the tech gap in Cook County, we have to remember why we're doing this in the first place.
Look, it is so easy to get bogged down in the logistics and the annoyance of dialing into an automated phone system. But let's take a step back. Your duty as a juror is to weigh evidence fairly and without bias. That is the absolute bedrock of our judicial system. Both the U.S. and Illinois constitutions guarantee the right to a trial by an impartial jury of one's peers. And that profound guarantee? It's completely meaningless if everyday citizens don't step up and participate.
So, I'll leave you with this. The tech and the Cook County state courts might feel stuck in the past, but our justice system cannot survive without your presence in the present. As you navigate those phone lines and walk those courthouse halls, just remember that upholding justice relies entirely on you showing up. The system needs you, offline and in person. Now, before we wrap up, a quick reminder. The information provided in this explainer is intended for general guidance and educational purposes only. Viewers are advised to consult official sources or seek legal advice for specific circumstances regarding jury duty in Cook County. Thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully this clears up the confusion the next time that summons lands in your mailbox.